Welcome back to This Week in Indies and the new fall season here at Go Indie Now. You know, navigating the internet is daunting enough, but then you realize as artists the need to utilize it for some form of success. Yet success isn't defined purely by sales. It's also community. It's the warm blanket of not feeling so alone, where all the voices are heard and encouragement and learning foster the pursuit. There is such a place that exists, and it's called the Writers' Troupe. It was started by Venessa Giunta. It's an active online community that through prompts, events, and weekly chatter encourages your creative spirit. So today we are going to highlight and talk about this great online community with some of those who have gotten and gave so much to it. We also begin our Best of the Indie Connection with books you might be reminded of if you were a fan of Stephen King's The Dark Tower. Then, in the epilogue, we try to figure out who's prompting us to ask all these silly questions. All this and more as we welcome you to another season of This Week in Indies. Here is your host, S.M. Hillman.
Welcome to the season premiere of This Week in Indies. I am your host, S.M. Hillman, also the host of Zero Means You're Dead and Hit the Dice, and a whole lot of other, actually not a whole lot of other things, that's not true. I think it's not inaccurate to say that I would not be here today speaking to you if it weren't for the writing troupe. I'm eternally grateful for Joe bringing me in to Go Indie Now, but I would have never met Joe, or I would have met Joe later in life if it hadn't been for the writing troupe. And, you know, the person who is largely responsible for that is Venessa Giunta, and cannot be with us here today. But we love her, and, you know, hopefully she's watching us. And enough about me. With me is a great group of contributors and members of the troupe, and I will let them introduce themselves, beginning with Bob.
Hey there, I'm Bob Magoo. I am best known as the author of the Jubal County Saga, which is about a redneck wizard with a crippling meth addiction.
Hooray! Also, I forgot to, hold on, let me solo Bob.
Ooh.
There he is.
Yeah.
Anita?
Okay, I'm Anita Stewart, right under A.F. Stewart. I'm a multi-genre author who just doesn't know when to stop writing in new genres. I host the Go Indie Now show, Words That Kill, the Crystal Lake Entertainment podcast, Shadows in Ink, and I write horror and fantasy and poetry and pretty much anything that's dark and stabby.
Thank you, Anita. Hey, Paige. Let me highlight Paige here.
Hi, I'm Paige L. Christie. I write feminist epic fantasy. Probably people know me for Dragon Weather and the Legacies of Arnon series. I've also had stories in several anthologies, mostly contemporary fantasy, Galactic Stew, and a few others. And I write IP for Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar. So, yeah.
Awesome. Rob.
Hey, I'm Rob Gilmore. I write under the pen name Rob Grimoire. I've been writing for about, in November, maybe 2 years now. I have a story featured on Man and Waker podcast. They're a literary podcast, short story called Regalia. I will have in February a story coming up in this massive multi-author, 50-author, large Afrofuturist beautiful concoction called Space Funk that drops in February. I'm working with Chrome Girls Press on a couple of projects, and I look forward to writing more things. I can't stop it. This group has been really influential in me writing, and I love it.
Thanks, Rob. And Joe.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Compton. If you don't know who I am on this channel, that's weird. Very meta for me. I don't usually be a panelist, but I couldn't resist because this is one of my favorite things to talk about on the planet. I think it's one of the best writing groups out there, and we'll talk more about that, obviously. But I write. I write primarily. I have a crime thrillers trilogy, the Duality of Truth series. That's not currently out there because my publisher folded, so I'm going to put it back out there eventually. I am writing horror currently. I'm in the midst of a horror novel. I wrote a horror novella for Cronin Girls Press that will come out either at the end of this year or at the beginning of 2025 about it's a carnival novella. So it's about a acrobat from Cirque du Soleil who goes a little nuts. So you might enjoy that if you're a horror fan. And I am a indie filmmaker as well. I do a lot of stuff in the indie film realm, and frequently here on Go Indie Now, surprisingly.
Yes, I'm shocked. So shocked actually to see that you're here on Go Indie Now. So typically I come at the group with a bunch of questions, but I think that we may do that as well. But first, I just want to everybody, and again, we'll start with Bob and go through the list. Just talk a little bit about your how you get to be in the troupe, and your what's meant to you over the years.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how I joined because I've been in there a while now. I think, if memory serves, it was at Dragon Con some years back, starting to get to know Venessa, and she was like, "Oh, hey, you should go check out this group I run." And so I am loath to recommend Facebook groups to anyone about anything, pretty much, especially in the writer space. There's pretty much only two that I actively recommend, and one is more for readers. But for writers, the only Facebook group I've ever recommended to anybody as a writer is the Writers Troupe. For me, it has been probably the biggest thing I've gotten from it is networking. I have just made so many connections through there. I find out about conventions I should go check out. It's how I found out about Multiverse. For me, it's really just been a boon to networking and kind of getting to share a space with a lot of authors that I respect across, some trad, some indie, some not published yet. Just a ton of folks I really respect I've gotten to hang out with. And that's been fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. Anita?
Well, it's all Joe's fault. Because, he had Venessa on the shows all the time and she kept talking about the group. And I kept meaning to go and check it out for several years, actually. But I finally did. And now it's a great group. I do the Twitch sprints every week that Venessa runs. And I get a lot done every week because of those Twitch sprints. So yeah, that's been very helpful. Meeting new people and talking about different aspects of writing and marketing has been very helpful too. I mean, the con stuff is not much. I don't get much out of that because I'm up in Nova Scotia and, can't go to all those lovely cons that you people talk about all the time. But yeah, I mean, I get a lot of good advice and support and stuff from the group. It's a great group.
Well, these days we're getting you to Multiverse. That's my goal. That's my mission.
That's a good goal. Yeah, absolutely. Paige?
Well, I do believe I've known Venessa for many years, and she'd been talking about starting this project for quite a while, and then the panini hit, as I like to say, and everything went online, and she'd been doing a little bit with it, and she just opened it up and started inviting those of us she knew in. And I started off with the Sunday night Zoom calls, which were topical and hilarious, and there weren't very many of us in there. And then it just started to explode as we began to realize that the space we were creating was really valuable and inviting more people in. And everywhere Venessa goes, You hear Vanessa's going to be in California, you hear Vanessa's going to be in, DC, wherever Vanessa's going to be, you just start counting when the people start arriving in the troupe, because the incoming greetings start rolling pretty quickly, because she's created such a great space, and one person, she'll say, hey, you should join it, and 6 people around her will go, oh my God, I'm in that, please come. So yeah, it's a space where I have found just a lot of answers to questions and a lot of community, and it's always very positive. It's not, you post a question, you don't feel like you're going to get talked down to. People are really there to answer and help. And it's everything from how do you self-publish to, hey, I've got this problem with word choice. Can you assist me with that? And it's great.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Rob?
Well, I am the assistant director at Multiverse, and that's actually where I met Venessa. Known her for years through Multiverse, and she invited me to come to into the group. And for a while there, I wasn't writing, so I wanted to write, but there was nothing that I was really doing. So I was kind of like promoting a podcast that I was involved with 2 friends of mine, 2 chairs at Multiverse, Jesse and Allie. And then I had an experience at Multiverse, and it kind of changed the way I thought about writing in general. And it's funny because I'm here on this panel with my mentor, Paige L. Christie, who you've already met. And honestly, I sat back and I listened to a lot of things that was going on with the group, and I kind of pushed myself to get involved with the Sunday night meetings, and I've gotten a wealth of information just about everything when it comes to prose in general from the group, and I'm really fortunate to have found it. And like everyone else here has said, every time I say something about the group, I run into people who are either in the group or known about the group separately. Just recently at JordanCon, I did that. I ran into a couple of different people that I didn't even know they were in the group. And now we have a little small 3-person group that we talk about things as new writers. It's really incredible what Venessa and everyone has done with the group, and I recommend it to everybody, especially if you want to get involved with writing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely true. Joe?
Believe it or not, I got invited to the group by somebody who doesn't frequent the group very often anymore, and that's Mr. Jim Nettles. He because he has continual and so much other things going on. He would do it more, I'm sure. But Jim told me about the group, and then he introduced me to Venessa, and then Vanessa's like, yeah, you should come in and join us, and that's how I got involved with the writing troupe. It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I really I think the thing that I love the most about the writing troupe is that I am constantly learning new stuff and new things, and it's helped grow this channel quite a bit. So obviously with the people involved here, and having met them through the group and everything like that, but also just the things that we talk about and how we've honed our message and evolved what we talk about here. So I think it's an invaluable tool for any writer out there that is especially starting out. I think you'll get a ton from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and show some of the comments. A.L. Mango says hello. Tales by Bob says hello. Very meta. Jessica Nettles. Hello, hey. Jessica. Space is the place. It absolutely is. That's the reference to Space Funk. And Books by Tiffany. Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
And Jonah, good afternoon all. Yeah.
Lots of my faves in the chat today.
There we go.
Speaking of meta, I wore the Space Funk shirt at Dragon Con one day and went up to Milton, and Milton was in the middle of pitching a book, and he just reached out and grabbed it and put out his hand. He goes, "My man!" And it's like his hand because he saw the shirt. It was a fun moment.
Yeah, Milton's fantastic. So one of the things that the troupe provides, and we've all sort of talked about it a little bit, is that community and that's one of the big themes with the troupe, is that sense of community. So I'm going to go in reverse order with you, Joe, start off, but talk a little bit more about the idea of what, not necessarily, you can point specifics from the troupe, but what is a community, in this case, a writing community, but I don't know if there are other like indie communities or movie indie communities, things that you could talk to. What does a community do for an individual, especially someone who's taking the indie route?
Well, I think the first thing it does is give you a safe space to talk about things that you want to talk about. I think, especially, and it also gets what you're trying to talk about seen, right? So, one of the great things about the writer troupe that I think yourself and Venessa do, Sean, is moderate the group very well so that the nonsense doesn't get through there, and it's more about the things that matter to writers and the questions that need to be asked. I mean, there is not a question that gets asked on that group that doesn't have 4 or 5 responses to it, because people gravitate to wanting to help other people, especially in the indie community. And I think that is the most fostering thing about this group. I think there's a lot of great opportunities, and I'm sure we'll talk about all the things that the writing troupe does, all the sprints and everything like that. But for me, it's just, it feels like a safe space, and that believe it or not, on the internet, that matters a lot. So
Yes, it absolutely matters a lot. I'll highlight Jessica's comments. One of the safest spaces I've been part of. Agreed, it is, and we do try to make sure that happens. Full disclosure, for those who don't know, I am the moderator. Well, a moderator for Venessa in the group. I'm sort of her second in command in that regard. And you are right. There is no nonsense allowed on Sean's watch.
And full disclosure, I asked Sean to host this episode, so you can yell at me if you asking why I'm not hosting. It's because Sean is the moderator of this group. So
no, I'm moderating this panel. It's symmetry. Rob?
I can't top what Joe said about being a safe space. It has been a safe space for me. And when you start out and we're doing something like writing, you often get from other places kind of, you shouldn't be doing that, or this is not going to be worth anything, or this is not going to be something that you're going to enjoy. Or there's a lot of kind of put downs and stuff like that. And I haven't experienced that here. I've only experienced encouragement and just a sharing of information and knowledge, and that's what a community is helping others grow and build and learn as much as possible. And I've gotten nothing but that from here, even in times where it has been uncomfortable for me to share my work or do that. I've always had people encourage me to, hey, let's do that. That's what we're all here for. Let's share our work and let's kind of give each other transfer information, give each other skill tips. And I really, really enjoy that. And it's a constant stream of information just through the feed about writing in general. I love it. It's true community. That's what it is.
Oh, wow. My friend Rebecca, who I'm in a very small writing critique group called Blazing Lioness. My friend Rebecca in that group says writers need their peeps. And if you look back through history and you look at a lot of great writers in the past, they had other writers around them encouraging them. And it's not a new thing. It's a new thing that we have so many people available and so much easy access to all different kinds of people with all different kinds of knowledge to encourage us. And so much gets lost in the noise on the internet. I have been in a lot of writing groups and a lot of writing spaces, and things can get ugly for silly reasons, silly reasons. I've not run into that in this group, which is why I'm still in it. I'm of a mind that there's no such thing as a stupid question if you sincerely want to know the answer. If you're asking just to be annoying, then it's a stupid question. But if you're asking because you sincerely don't know and you sincerely want to learn, go for it. You need to know that information, and you can do that in this group. and I really enjoy that. I'm also of a mind that I'm not a big fan of competition. I was an athlete for years and I've done a lot of competing, but in the creative spaces, I'm not a big fan of competition because there's room for everybody out there. There's room for everybody's interesting new way of thinking about things, of creating things, of suggesting things. You can have a person ask a question and I can answer it the best of my ability, but I'm not answering it in a way that that person is clicking with. And 6 answers down the line, there's the words they need to hear or see or read or whatever to get the knowledge that they need and have it make sense for them. And that's the beauty of a space where everybody's allowed to speak out. So community for me means just connecting on a lot of different levels and leaving your ego at the door and doing the best you can to ask and answer things that are relevant and share your knowledge and let people know quite honestly when you don't know something. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point that Sophia was made, that there's always somebody willing to answer a question, even if, and one of the things I do like too is that we don't get caught up in all the genre BS, right? Like if somebody misquotes or misrepresents sword and sorcery, yes, I'm going to jump in. But other than that, I think that's one of the beautiful things. Like we have all genres, including nonfiction, in the writing troupe. Right?
There's no Star Wars toxicity allowed in the writing troupe, everybody.
No. Anita, how about you?
Sorry to call out the one group that I know. Sorry.
Right.
So not sorry.
Okay, yeah, well, I agree with everything's been said so far, but I'd also add that the advice you get is practical advice.
Yeah.
I mean, so many groups that I've belonged to, especially if they're big ones, they just give you the advice, throw money at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not everybody can throw money at it. Some of us are on budgets, people. But you don't get that in this group. You get practical advice that will work for whatever level you happen to be at, whether it be something you can throw money at or something that you're on a budget for. You'll get the advice you need with this group. And that's what I really like. And yeah, there is such a sense of community. And I think that's why you get practical advice, because people actually pay attention, right, to what you're asking. And they'll ask questions if they want more information that in order to give the advice. So it really is like, we're here to support you, and don't have to feel like you have to spend thousands of dollars to be successful, like some other groups I've been in.
Correct. The writing troupe is not a multi-level marketing scheme, right? If you pay,
I'm not going to name that group, but yeah, particular group I am thinking of.
That's why they call you Ponzi Sean.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, you get to come to the chats if you pay me $10. It's an onboarding fee. I swear. You're not feeding my crippling Mountain Dew addiction. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, so I'll say that for me, it has shifted over the years I've been in the group. When I first started coming, like I said, a lot of it was networking, but I did have a good number of questions, and a lot of them fairly rudimentary questions. Shockingly, didn't know a lot of writers from South Central Alabama writing genre fiction, so I didn't really have a great community to draw on. So this is kind of my first real large community. But as time has shifted, as I've shifted from more the question asker to more the question answerer, and that's something that I've really enjoyed, because as years have gone, I've become really dedicated to paying forward all the help I've gotten over the years. A lot of that help came from the writing troupe. And so being able to occasionally intelligently answer a question as intelligently as someone from Alabama can has been a real delight and something I look forward to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because I know for me personally that's been true. But if you with the group long enough, or you've been with the group long enough, you can watch people. I mean, Rob's a great example, right? We've watched his journey for the last 2 years, right? And he does occasionally give some advice to people too. So we've seen people go from neophyte writer to someone who feels comfortable speaking to a subject, right? And that's success right there. That tells you that the group is success, because you're watching people contribute at every level that they're in, and that's gratifying. And that it also gets back to what everybody was saying, is that as a community, we're not there to tear anyone down. There's no, you have to earn your stripes. It's just, come on in. What can you have to offer? What can we teach you? And it's been in that way, it's been fantastic. This is a little self-serving, but I'll share this one. And we appreciate you, Sean, even if we harass you. The harassment is worth it for sure. So on the here we go. Bear with me here. Here we go. Okay, so on the other side of the Indie Connection, I would like everybody to talk about one of their favorite activities that the writing troupe does, that they've participated in or want to participate in. But first, let's get our first of the season, the retro, the best of the Indie Connection with C.L. Cannon. If you were a fan of The Gunslinger by Stephen King.
C.L. Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. This week, I'm going to be telling you about indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of Stephen King's Dark Tower series. The first book I have for you is called Once Upon a Time in the Weird West by Diane Morrison. In a post-apocalyptic Saskatchewan, the Gunslingers are a holy order of law empowered to keep the peace and protect the common people. They have supernatural powers to back it up. The Walsh siblings are about to find themselves entangled in the nefarious schemes of a necromancer, but they're not gunslingers. Not yet. Graham and Piper will need all their training and courage, and all the support of their newfound companions, to put a stop to the villain's plans. Fortunately, Graham has an ace up his sleeve. Nobody but his family and his teacher know that he's a sorcerer. Welcome to the Weird West. The next book I have for you is called Colony of the Lost by Derek Cavagano. When the children of Glenwood begin vanishing one by one, baffling local and federal authorities alike, the idyllic New England suburb becomes anything but utopia. Built upon the ruins of a lost colony, Glenwood harbors a long-forgotten secret, and when three strangers are lured into the midnight woods by the phantom of a Puritan boy, they discover the truth of the town's dark past and must face a vision of its bloody future. Together, this unlikely trio, Jay, an alcoholic schoolteacher, Tim, a wisecracking new kid in town, and Sarah, a 9-year-old with a handful of imaginary friends, must find a way to rescue the town from a terrifying supernatural force to prevent history from repeating itself. The third book I have for you is called The Legacy by Luke Rahman. Haunted by the toxic memories of a torturous foster father, Jacob Hope yearns to make a difference in a world gone awry, trying to accomplish some small scrap of good in an ocean of wrong. Tumbling through life with no true direction, Jake unwittingly reveals a nightmare. The gates of hell have been unlocked, and something long imprisoned has broken loose from its shackles to roam free upon the earth. It cannot be bargained with, it cannot be defeated, and it exists with only desolation in its heart. Longing to confront such evil, Jake must embark upon a journey not only of destination, but of self-discovery. In his attempts to thwart a fallen angel, Jake must also come to grips with his own part in this almighty drama. For above it all, haunts the inheritance he alone must bear, a legacy which will save or doom all of mankind. And the last book I have for you is called The Tollkeeper by Mark R. Vickers. Klaus Rise is a creature out of legend, hiding in plain sight. Through the darkest hours of the night, he maintains a low profile as a tollkeeper along a lonely stretch of Florida causeway. Then, a drunken, loudmouth motorist causes Klaus to lose his stony cool, spurring him to narrate two intertwined stories. One is an epic coming-of-age tale set in medieval Norway and Iceland. The other is a modern sunshine noir mystery in which he encounters a woman with a mythic history of her own. Her uncanny family, who bears a striking resemblance to the Norns of Norse lore, learn his secrets and enlist his help to battle a mysterious enemy and an eminent domain case of immense importance. The surly Klaus wants no part of it, yet he is soon entangled in forces he can barely comprehend, and a face that has guided his implausible life from the day he was born. At the center of all the book's scams, schemes, seductions, and savagery is a pristine Florida spring that must be preserved at all costs. Everything depends on the tollkeeper's success, and always has.
Okay, that's it for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye.
Hello. That was fun. It was interesting.
I'm a little disappointed, Sean.
Huh?
I'm a little disappointed. I was really hoping the first one would have been for people who haven't been here for 6 years and haven't seen any connection from the beginning. That was one of the very first ones that she did. But she used to do them from her car, and we used to joke about how the CL Cannon was in her car again, and I should have had one that had one where she was in her car so that everybody could see that. But there will be other best ofs that she's in her car for. But just to give some people some nostalgia. But yeah, that one was one of the weird ones where she was kind of transitioning between her car and her office. So
Gotcha. And we definitely will see new shows from CL Canyon eventually, but hopefully folks this season are going to enjoy this best of. I know I just enjoyed that. Bob, Tollkeeper Bob. Tales by Bob. Yeah, Florida Man Meets Mythology. I'm also here for that. I'm probably going to pick that one up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have, there she is. The lovely Venessa Giunta has arrived. Late, but fashionably late.
She's not late. She's making an entrance.
That's true. She's making an entrance. Vanessa, we were talking about you and thinking about you. So, and Jessica, West of the Apocalypse. It's in line with Gunslinger and is awesome. Okay, great. There's another one for folks. Well, West of the Apocalypse. Pick it up. All right. So before our break, I mentioned folks to think about a favorite aspect of the tribe, something like one of the events or things that we do on a weekly or sometimes monthly basis. Oh, she reminds me I got to put up a event later this week. Anyway, so anybody, just anyone, what's one of the favorite things that you've done with the tribe that sticks out, or excuse me, the troop that sticks out with you?
I'll start. One of my favorite things that we did, we don't do it as much anymore right now because everyone's busy, but it was the critiques. I was afraid to get people to read my work outside of like my mentor, and kind of got pushed to do that and pushed myself to do that. And it's been really beneficial for me to do that because I get other people's perspectives and it helps me improve my writing. But just, finding out that there are things that I write that some people like, and there are things that I write that just don't strike a chord with some people, kind of help me find my audience and kind of help me, steer where I kind of wanted to go with what I write, depending on both my sensibilities and what I like, and also how I can entertain the people that actually do like what I write. So that's been very beneficial. And I really enjoyed it. Nightbirds as well. Shout out, Sean. And the Sunday night calls that we get with different topics was also amazing because everyone gets to vote on those particular topics, and from there, whoever has the highest vote, we get to talk about those things. And they've been talking topics like screenwriting, budgeting for writers. Just all different types of things that I think are very important for you to know if you start, and very important for you to know throughout your career. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Yes. Learning to be able to give and also receive critique. Yeah, that's helped me so much. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm going to shout out the teas. This is something that it's not in the actual group, but they're talked about in the group. If there's a convention that Vanessa's at, that there's any sizable presence of writing troopers there, she always organizes a get together, usually on Saturdays, usually in her room, where we come hang out. If you drink tea, you have tea. They always have a bewildering mix of fancy teas, which are just way too extravagant for my tastes. If it's not sweet tea, is it really tea? Come on, I'm from Alabama. But those have been I've really enjoyed those because it's great to finally get to meet some of these people that I've been enjoying online in the physical world. So I didn't get to do it at DragonCon this year because I had a panel at the same time, but they do have coffee, but I was raised Mormon, so I don't drink coffee. I'm not Mormon now.
Coffee's awesome.
That's what everyone tells me. Everyone tells me it's good. But yes, I would say if you have the opportunity, if you're at a convention, like I know there'll be one at Multiverse. I've been to one at Con Carolinas, I believe. They're always a good time. You get to hang out with some of the people that you've been talking with online in person, and that's always nice.
Thank you so much, Bob. Anybody else?
Can I
Yeah.
say that?
Well,
Oh,
we're
go
all
ahead.
willing to dive in now.
Yeah, go ahead. Whoever was going ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Um,
Anita.
I was just going to say that the Wednesday and Thursday writing sprints on Twitch are the one thing that I always participate in if I can, because first of all, I get a lot of stuff done during those sprints because they're great productivity sprints, but they're also very entertaining because Vanessa's a great host of those sprints, and she's always keeping us up to date on the news and events and things. So yeah, I love those sprints, and I'm there every Wednesday and Thursday. So I definitely recommend them.
Excellent. Yeah, the sprints are great. And it's all volunteer time, right? There's the Twitch sprints, but there's also the other writing sprints that other people host.
Yeah,
and that's all people. It's all volunteers, right? They're all volunteering their time to do that.
Yeah, I did a lot of the Sunday night meetings early on, and have been able to get to fewer and fewer of those as time has gone on, as my life has evolved into chaos. But the thing that I really enjoyed when I was doing it on the regular and need to get back to is the co-working events, which happen during usually Mondays and Fridays in the middle of the day when I'm at work, and I'm often not able to get to any of the writing sprints, and I can't exactly do writing sprints when I'm at work, but I can log in and see faces and people that I care about and people who have the same things that matter to me in a lot of ways. And I can do my budgeting for work, or I can write my thank you letters to my donors, or I can do grant reports, or whatever it is that I'm doing at work in that time frame, and feel like I have some company that's not just everybody I work with on a daily basis. It's really nice. I like the co-working because it's not restricted to, okay, we're going to be working on only writing stuff. Whatever it is you're doing that day, if your co-working is, I need to clean out my refrigerator and I want some company to do it, you can do it during co-working. And so community goes beyond just focused on writing stuff. It's just nice to know there's people out there that are happy to see you when you log in, even if you're doing something silly like vacuuming. So that's a good time. I like those.
Also fantastic and very true, right? Community is something that exists outside of the context of the group, and that's fantastic. Joe?
I used to feel weird about the only one not writing in the co-working. I was always the guy editing videos or doing my laundry. But then people started doing their laundry during the co-working, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm not alone. I'm going to give you a shout out, Mr. Hillman, because I think one of my favorite things to do on a Monday morning is to wake up and go to the Monday question and answer the Monday question and see how big of a smartass I can become. With that question, I always look at it as an opportunity to, flex my comedy chops, which I have none of. But I look at that as an opportunity. So I love that. I love that. I do virtually almost every Monday morning. So it's the one thing that I love. I love all of the co-working, and again the Sunday night discussion. Again, I've had trouble frequenting as well because just my work schedule and things of that nature. So it's been tough for me. When I can get there, I love to get there. But and the co-working as well. Co-working is usually because I'm on the West Coast. I'm one of the people on the West Coast, so I don't get an opportunity to do a lot of those because I'm at work at the time. So anyway, but yeah, but the Monday morning question is always one of the things I look forward to at the group.
I just want to say real quick, like I'm kind of in the same boat, like Paige, Joe, me. I used to do a ton more events. Like I did some of the writing sprints. I tried to hit as many of the Sundays as I could early on. And just as life goes, you just get busier. But that's kind of the point of the group.
Right.
The point of the group is to help you grow your career. And they don't, Venessa and Sean have never once been like, Bob, you used to come to the Sunday meetings a lot more, and we haven't seen you in there in a while. Why aren't you doing our thing? And it's like, there's never any guilt. It's the group is doing its job. I am typically on the weekends, I'm doing Tales by Bob stuff all the time. And a lot of that has been facilitated by the connections and the learning I've made in the group. The dream is that one day that we all outgrow the group, but you're still part of the community. You're shifting more from asking questions to answering questions. You're just hanging out. You're pulling, you're a little bit farther along the path, so you pull people up with you as you go. So that to me is just a natural function of the group, and it does it very well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. To be completely transparent, I do occasionally get, and I always mention it, but I do occasionally get help from Rosemary Claire Smith. So shout out to you, Rosie, for helping me with those Monday questions. And hopefully you'll see this on Memorex, live on Memorex. And you get that shout out to you, because I really appreciate that help. Because I get busy at new jobs, stuff like that, and Rosie will gently prod me hey, what's the Monday question, or here's a good Monday question, and it's really that's an example of someone in the group saying, hey, this is valuable, let me help you do that, and that's fantastic. And everybody in the group's like that, not just Rosie, but I think that's the beauty of this community. So before we get to 20 questions of the epilogue, let's go ahead and do real quick two things. One, if you would like to say a thank you to Venessa, since she's here listening, that's great. You don't have to, though. Don't feel pressured. But two, make it we always talk about pitch practice, right? We're pitching our books, but let's go ahead and just pitch the Troupe to people who may not be members of the Troupe. Someone go ahead and jump in and start.
Since I'm the newest, I guess, would I be the newest? Would I be considered the newest person in this group? This group of people? Yes. Okay. Since I am the newest and I've been writing the shortest amount of time, I will say, if you are looking for a place to learn as much as you possibly can from some really wonderful quality human beings, this is the place to do it. There is no demand of you when you're here. You can sit and learn and not speak a word. If that's just how you interact with people, that's cool. And you won't have any pressure. I mean, like everyone here has said, that's been a running theme, is that you learn a lot You get a lot of information from really good people, and there isn't any pressure on you to be there. But this is a place that if you decide you do want to write or learn as much as you can about writing, this is the place to be. It is. It's benefited me greatly. I'm learning still as much as I possibly can from the group, and I've met and made some really good friends in this group.
Awesome.
Can I just say, if you're out there and you're writing right now and you're stuck on something, if there's a question you have, this is the group to go ask that question to. Go post the question and watch. You'll get umpteenth amount of responses from it. That's the kind of group that is fostered here, and it's kind of cultivated into that element for a lot of good writers. And the other thing about that is sometimes we're afraid to ask the question because we feel like we're looking, amateurish, or we have imposter syndrome about the question itself, or where we are as writers and standing as writers. And there is no dumb question in that respect, right? There are stupid questions. I'm not going to lie. There are stupid questions, but they're not. When it comes to writing and you're stuck, I think that there is not a stupid question for that aspect of what the writing troupe is, because I think that's the thing is, like, it's a community, right? And we all want to help each other. We all want to lift everybody up. So don't be afraid of that aspect of it. Go ask your question. You will get the answer you're looking for. I promise you will. And then as far as what Venessa has done, and Sean, you're included in this. I want to give you props as much as I want, as much to give Venessa props as well. But Venessa, what Venessa has done is kind of what you see from her as a person. She opens her heart up to you whenever you talk to her. She listens to what you're saying. And I think that presents itself within a, believe it or not, unbelievably, on a social media site. It mirrors that, and I think the group mirrors her heart and her ability to listen to what you have to say. I've never had a conversation with Venessa where I felt like she was, not engaged in it, right? And I think that is the coolest thing about the group, is that everybody seems to be engaged in what we're talking about. When we're doing those Sunday night chats, there's a level of engagement there that I don't get anywhere else. And I mean, that's kind of why Go Indie Now exists a little bit, is because I never had that engagement. I wanted that engagement, so I brought it here. But that is, it's just impressive, the scope of what Sean and Venessa do on a daily basis there, and knowing that they have lives and jobs and everything else. So, it's just a wonderful place to be. And I think if you're a writer, no matter what level you're at, you'll get something from it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
I'd say that it's a supportive community that will accept you no matter at what level of writing and authorship you are. I mean, if you're beginning to experienced anything in between, you can just come in and do your thing and you'll be accepted. And they have lovely opportunities for like the co-working and the writing sprints and the Zoom calls on Sunday for you to learn or write or just interact with people. And like, you can ask your questions and nobody's going to be critical about it. That's what I like most about it. There's nobody saying, well, you're wrong, right? It's like, like if you're having problems and you say, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing it this way, you should be doing it that way. They're just going to tell you, well, this is the way I do it. Maybe it will work for you, advice, which is what I like. Because when someone comes at you and says, well, you're doing it wrong, you're not going to accept their advice. I'm just saying it's going to be a bad experience. I've never had a bad experience in this group. And Venessa and Sean have created that atmosphere. And that's what I love about the group the most. That no matter what you do in this group, you never have a bad experience.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great point. and great to hear as well.
I think there was a tone set from the very beginning as to what kind of group it was going to be. Venessa came in with a very clear idea of what she wanted to create, and she didn't tolerate people who were trying to pull in a different direction from that. And that's how it's got to be. You don't want the big egos and the big know-it-alls and the meanness that comes from feeling superior. You can't learn if you're not willing to recognize the fact that there is something to learn. I had a dance instructor that told me once, take every beginner class everywhere you go. If you're traveling and you want to go take a class, no matter what level you're at, you go to the beginner class. You go, you get back to basics with somebody who learned the basics differently than you do and teaches the basics differently than you might teach it. And that's where you reset your brain and learn to think differently. And that's what this group feels like. It feels like no matter how far along I get with this, there's always something that I'm a beginner at. And just because I've been doing this for X number of years doesn't mean I have all the answers. And it doesn't mean I can't learn something new and interesting or a different way of thinking about something from, say, Rob, who's been doing this for a couple of years. I learn from Rob all the time. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's a space where people recognize that they can learn and share their knowledge and skills at the same time, and neither level is greater than the other. So.
I literally just wrote a big long blog post on how to do quick pitches and elevator pitches and whatnot. And the core takeaway is with every pitch, you tell what a thing is. This group, it's a community of unpublished, self-published, and trad-published authors coming together to ask and answer questions. And then the second part of your pitch is what makes it unique. And what makes this group unique, and the reason it's the only group I recommend, is there's no ego. Everyone, there are people that have sold far more books than me, and they've been just as cool to me as though I was Jim Butcher come down from on high or whatever. Everyone is respectful. No one acts like they're better than the group. And that's what makes it unique. And so I will be forever grateful for Venessa for setting this group up, and for Sean and the two of them for keeping it going. But even outside of that, they've become friends in real life. They've both helped my career tremendously over the years. I would absolutely not be where I'm at now without them and without the group. And so wherever you want to get in your writing career or lack of career, you don't have to be trying to become a full-time writer for a living. Maybe you just want to write, there's no judgment there. There's no, this is for writers at any stage. And so I will be forever thankful to them for this group, for that.
I would go so far to say it's for creatives at any stage.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's creating anything can get something from it, not just writers. I think the misnomer is that it's just writing, but it's not. It's creatively, because we the co-working is a great example of that, right? I'm editing videos during the co-working time period instead of writing, which I should be writing, but I am editing videos instead, and doing other things that foster my creativity, and just having that 30 minutes dedicated to just doing that, I think lets the left side of my brain kind of relax, and and gives it an opportunity. And so I think that creatively it's a space where you can just get your juices flowing a little bit too. So I think that helps a lot, and it doesn't matter what you're doing creatively in doing that. I mean, I know several people in the writing troupe that I've met who are writers, but that's not primarily their creative output, right? They have other creative attributes that they lean more heavily on when they talk about who they are. So there's a lot of filmmakers in the group, believe it or not. There's a lot of artists, like painters and sculptors in this group. And there's even actors in the group. So, I think the group itself, if you're looking for something to foster creativity, I think that's a really good way to do it, is to try the co-working.
Agreed. I'll just take a second here just to say thank you to Vanessa. I remember the day that she messaged me and said, "Hey, we're at 350 people," and I told myself at 350 people, I'd get a moderator, and she reached out to me to be that moderator. And not only was that cool, but the response from people who were like, "Oh yeah, Sean would be a great mod," that was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that. So I will also say thank you to all the people who are members of the group, because it's you make moderation easy, and it's great the way that you all participate. Without your participation, the community wouldn't be what it was. So thank you so much for taking on or embracing that idea that Vanessa had and paying it forward the way you guys do. So thanks so much. All right. So Bob, or Joe, I'm sorry, Bob, Joe, somebody. Joe, do you have the epilogue graphic? Because I cannot find it. Because you know what it's time for.
Yeah, hang on. I think I do have it here. Yeah, there you go. It's uploading here in a second. It'll be there in literally a second. There you go. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
I mean, you could always do this one if you want, but
It is time for the epilogue.
All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop producing shots. Sorry.
That's okay.
I can't help myself.
That's okay. There we go. The epilogue. And today's for the first time, and hopefully we'll continue this. I think it's going to be great. We're gonna do 20 questions. All right. You all know how 20 questions works. There is a character in a book I have in my mind. And you all have to get 20 questions to figure out who it is. Somebody start.
I have a question. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Is this character in the book a human being?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the character something other than a human being as well?
God, suddenly this game is not fun anymore. I would say yeah.
Dude, I mean, like,
yes.
I know you, so I almost automatically was going to guess right off the bat, but I'll let the game play out a little bit.
Okay, so I'll say that you could interpret it that way. Yes.
Male or female?
Male.
Is the character in a fantasy world?
Just like eating. He's like wanting to punch the screen right now.
So yes, I will say yes. I think most people consider that to be yes, but not.
The modern day fantasy world.
Some of it.
Does your character ever board a ship?
Oh.
Ooh, what a good question. That's such a good question.
Yes, I'll say yes.
Ooh.
I think so,
Is the character undead?
No.
Okay.
Is the character omnipotent?
No. How many questions is that? Okay.
2, I think 2, maybe 3.
We're at 8.
Yeah, right. Yep. Okay, so 12 questions ago.
Is the character a child or an adult?
Adult.
Obvious question. Does the character have any recognizable body markings? Scars, tattoos?
Sharp, pointy teeth.
Let me double check that.
Does the character have siblings?
Hold on. Let me.
All right.
Rob, specifically on their body.
Yeah. Yes.
I like to think that Sean is now like scrolling through porn pictures of whoever this is.
Welcome to the troop, everybody.
I'll say no. No.
No. Okay. Okay.
Does the character have siblings?
I don't think so, but let me double check. No, does not.
Is the character the protagonist of the book?
Yes.
Okay. Does the character have a horse? Okay, if it took you that long, I know it's not the character I'm thinking. Thanks.
Hold on, I gotta.
All right, we gotta start
they
guessing
use
here
they
pretty
use
soon, guys.
they use a horse at some point. So
Has the character ever time traveled?
yes.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
Hold on, how many questions is that now?
I think we're up to 5.
All right.
So I'm gonna call it 15. So we have 5 questions left.
Has the character ever been other people?
It's a good one.
How? How do you mean other people?
Ooh.
It's a more of a title than a person.
No. They've only been themselves. 4 questions left.
Have they ever changed appearance at any point in their life?
Not significantly.
No.
Just a normal.
Does the character have any claim to any throne?
Nice.
I'm gonna say no. 3 questions left.
When we get to the end, are we going to each get to guess someone? Is how this works?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Has the book been adapted into film, either
Yes.
TV or movie? Okay.
Yes, it has.
Okay. Ooh. Anybody else got a question? Because I have a question that I don't know if I should answer or not.
Ask
Oh,
it.
God.
Ask
Go
it.
for it.
Does the character have a particular relationship with fire?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Is that all of them, Sean? I think we're
One more
done.
question. Nope, one more
Does the
question.
character have a named sword?
Asking the real questions.
That is a good question. I would say technically yes.
Well, shit.
I'm curious if okay, that's your 20 questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bob, start us off. Go ahead.
You.
You have a question for us? Hold on. Go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Paige, you muted.
Yeah.
Or I'm muted.
But you muted.
Nope, you're still muted.
Oh. I think she's talking to someone in
Oh,
real
okay.
life.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. I'll just guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the protagonist. I don't think technically. I'm just going to guess Randall Flagg.
No, it's not Randall Flagg.
Okay. Well, damn.
Although I love Randall Flagg, and he may be in the future.
I could see. That's what I think. I was like, I could see Sean picking Randall Flagg. So, damn. Okay.
Anita?
I have no clue. So I'll just go with King Arthur.
You're so close.
Oh,
Joe?
Oh man, that threw me off because I was gonna go Connor McLeod from
From Highlander.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one. It's not, but it's a good one. Rob?
The Gunslinger.
Correct.
Oh,
Roland Deschain. Yep.
Yay, Rob!
Hey. Hold on.
Nice.
Let me get the. It is indeed Roland Deschain.
nice.
Which I had forgotten what the book was for.
I was gonna say, did
the
you do that
connection
on purpose?
So when that comes up, I'm like, I'm both like, oh, that's cool, and oh shit. Oh wait,
Well,
can we say that? Yeah, I mean, we're adults.
I think that's what that being on there is what got me thinking Randall Flagg, because I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, because he's in a bunch of King's books and yada, The Stand and yada yada yada. So
this is why I asked the question about royalty. I wanted to kind of play with you, Arthurian,
Yes.
and then when AF said author, and you were like, I was like, I was right. I guessed it right. Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yep.
And the
yep,
time
good job.
travel. Thank you for that tip.
I think
that was
the
a good
question about the sword was the best one, though. That one
It
changed.
was.
It was
because that was like, oh yeah, I guess technically the pistols are that. Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, we have some announcements for our schedule for this week in Indie or Go Indie Now. On Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern times if I forget. Spotlight on the Multiverse with Catherine Webble and Tony Santorelli. That should be a good one. Exploring TikTok in the Multiverse. Tuesday at 8 Eastern Time, working the Indies 5 with Joe and Brian Tan reviewing the Iron Claw, reviewing the Iron Claw. And talking about World Championship Wrestling's impact on the Indies, which I think is going to be great. Thursday at 8, we have First Time for Everything with Juliet Rose as Juliet welcomes JD Estrada. JD is one of our favorite people.
Yes.
And Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, Words That Kill with A.F. Stewart
And Vanessa.
And she welcomes Venessa Giunta to talk villains that we love to kill. I was just giving Anita a chance to just.
I thought you were stuck there for a second.
No, this is A.F. Stewart, and she will be here on a Saturday show. There you go. All right, Joe, we'll start with you. Where can people find you on the interweb?
Here. I don't really have a whole lot of I should have author stuff, but I really don't yet. Working on it. If you want to follow me, I mean, I'm on Blue Sky. It's Go Indie Now. I'm on Instagram, Go Indie Now. X Machine, if you with the X Machine anymore, I'm Joe Dream 73, and then Joe Dream on Facebook, where I'm probably the most active is Facebook, and I'm gonna start getting more active on Blue Sky because I miss the Twitter aspect of my life, and I can no longer call it Twitter. And looking at my feed and discussing things that are on my feed right now, I'm pretty much done with X. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. Rob?
You can find me anywhere online under my author name, Rob Grimoire. I'm there on everywhere, Threads, Twitter, TikTok recently, Blue Sky, everywhere. I'm under Rob Grimoire, and I have a link tree that's right there underneath my name there. You can check it out. Check me out there too. I will have some things in the works, and you can keep up with me there.
can I mention one more thing I forgot, Sean? I was going to mention.
ahead.
I have joined Letterboxd as well, so if you want to see my top 250 films of all time, I spent 3.5 hours composing this list and it's on Letterboxd. If you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's kind of like IMDb, but it's like it's just the films. It just lists all the films, and you can read reviews and stuff like that. It's a cool site, but I ranked my list is my top 250 films. So if you were curious, what are my favorite films of all time, you can see them there on Letterboxd. Sorry. And now I'm at Joe Go Indie Now is my handle.
Is Big Trouble in Little China on that list?
It is, yes.
Okay, then that's a good list then. Pete?
It's just out of the top 100.
Okay, cool.
So I can't hear you at all, Paige.
Am I back now?
Yeah.
Okay. New mic. Very confusing. I'm Paige L. Christie everywhere. You got to put the L in or you get who knows who. But Paige L. Christie everywhere. The next live appearance I will be doing for folks who don't already know me is I will be at Multiverse in October in Atlanta. And then we'll see what next year brings for live appearances. Starting to do those applications. But you can find me upon occasion in the troupe as well. Feel free to, shoot me a question if you've got one. I will do my best to answer. And if I don't know, I will tell you that I don't know, and I'll find out who does.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paige. Anita?
Well, you can find me at afstewart.ca. It's got all my socials, all the books in the upcoming one that's coming up in October. And you can also find me here on Go Indie Now, as mentioned, with Words That Kill. And also my podcast, Shadows and Ink, is over on Podbean if you want to have a listen to me talk horror and interview horror authors.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Bob, lead us out.
Yeah, no. Again, Bob Magoo, tellsbybob.com. You can find me. I'm pretty much Tells by Bob everywhere. My upcoming events to finish up the year, I have Alabama Comic Con in a couple weekends. Then I'm doing Multiverse. Then I'm doing Conjuration. And then I'll be just doing some local stuff around the Christmas season. And then we'll be hitting 2025 hard and heavy. So, woo!
Woo,
Thank
indeed.
you. Yes, indeed. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'm SM Hillman. You can find me here in the Go Indie Network, hosting this show on occasion, occasionally being a panelist as well. And the upcoming this month, we'll have a new Zero Means You're Dead interview with Craig Campbell, which will be up hopefully in a few weeks. And then we'll also have another Hit the Dice, where Craig will run some of our lovely gamer types through his game, Good Strong Hands, which I really like. It's a good game. I love the chance to play that. And thank you all again for being here. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone who's participated in the Troupe. If you're not a Troupe member, please feel free to join. I can't forget that, so pitching that out.
The link is in the description for anybody who hasn't been there before.
Awesome. And Joe, why don't you lead us out?
All right. Well, it's always time to go indie now. Bye, everybody.
I never know what it's no information in advance. I'm just like, okay. But